Hi you guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today I'm going to be reviewing Yarn Bee Stitch 101 acetate yarn. This is going to be a little bit more of a involved review. So first off, I'm going to share with you guys my wear test vlog video clips that I took on Thursday. I wore it from 7 a.m. to like 10 p.m. The entire day. I wore it for my 5-mile walk. I wore it for an extra 1-mile walk. I wore it while cooking dinner. I wore it while doing laundry, changing sheets on the bed, sweeping, dusting, vacuuming. I wore it while watching TV crocheting. I even wore it while checking in with another YouTuber for their live on Thursday night. So I'm going to insert that and then we'll come back and get in with the review. Morning, you guys. Sorry, gotta check for traffic. So I am starting my full day wear of the Lion Brand acetate, or not Lion Brand, Yarn Bee acetate yarn to see how it wears. Does it get sweaty? Is it ooky? Does it wear like a bamboo? And we're starting off, it's 34 degrees here. And we're starting off with my morning walk. And I will keep checking in periodically. We're going to do this vlog style. I'm planning on doing some cooking today. It's Thursday, so I'll be filming my show and tell video later on today. And we will also possibly be starting to do some pickup from fall and starting to decorate some Christmas. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty decent day to give this a go and see, is it going to be hot? Is it going to wear like bamboo? Is it going to breathe? What is this going to feel like? So I look forward to checking in with you guys all day. See you in a little bit. All right, you guys. So you saw my headphones on in the picture. My mom called right at the end of my walk. So I stayed on the phone with her for a while. It's now like 11:30 in the morning. I just got out of the shower and got dressed, so I popped the cowl back on. When I took it off, I had a massive heat bubble trapped underneath it. And like, as I was pulling it up, you could feel all the heat on my face and everything. It was fantastic. So it is trapping heat in, but I'm not getting sweaty or itchy or claustrophobic or anything like that. It really is behaving a lot like a bamboo or a cotton blend would, but it's much drapier and softer. I forgot I had it on until I went to go get in the shower, and it's like, okay. So I am going to eat some lunch and take a break because I spent that whole time. I left at 7:30 this morning, and I think I took that picture at 9ish, and I spent the entire time between then and now like cleaning and picking up and stuff. So I am going to eat, take a break, and then I'll start getting ready to film my video today, because today is Thursday. It's the day I normally film my show and tell videos. So we're going to do that, and then I will check in with you guys in a bit. So it's a good thing when I go to film my video, it's going to be short today. We had a package misdelivered, so I decided I would just walk it down to my neighbor's house and deliver it for them. It's about 4 o'clock. We're still going well with the cowl. Weight-wise, I don't even notice it's there. It's warm. It's about, I think it was 52 when I left the house, so 52 at 4 o'clock, 4:30. So I just thought I'd check in with you guys and keep you guys updated. I did fall asleep earlier, so that's why we're running a little bit late, but I'll check in with you guys soon. So I just got done editing the video for show and tell. And now I'm putting the finishing touches on my, well, it still needs to simmer down a little bit, but my paprika chicken. Once it simmers down a little bit, I'll add some cream to that. And I have some paprika and butter in the pan beside it. I'm gonna make some cauliflower rice to go with it. But we're still going well. Running around crazy like a mad woman all day, but it's still wearing fantastic. Still feels really nice. There's heat getting trapped in there, but it's not claustrophobic or sweaty or anything. It's breathing really nicely. As I warm up, it's doing its job at regulating the temperature. So anyway, you guys, I'll check back with you guys probably right before I go to bed. And by then, I mean, I've been wearing this now since 7 o'clock this morning, and it's, yeah, dinner time. So I'll see you guys shortly. So I wanted to give another quick checkup. You can see who's there in the background. Sandy. Ears, honey, ears. Still going well. Everything will be pretty calm for the rest of the night until I take my shower, or wash my face and stuff. So I'm not expecting any change in how I feel about this. It's breathing well, keeping me warm without making me sweaty. So we're still doing good. But I did want to show you guys what I do on my Thursday nights. All right, you guys. So this is my last check-in. I have been wearing my cowl all day. I've now had it on for 12, 13, 14 hours, more or less straight. I took a nap in it. I took a 5-mile walk in it. I took a 1-mile walk in it. I did housework in it. I cooked dinner in it. And I have to say, it does wear like bamboo. It is pretty fantastic. It breathes enough to where you don't trap moisture around your neck. Yeah, sorry. Pippin knows it's bedtime, so he's already claiming his spot on the bed. It wears like bamboo. You can see where I carried the strings up, but it's for me. I didn't care. It breathes like bamboo. It's got amazing drape. It's very comfortable to wear. It's got enough weight to where once you settle it down, it stays put, but it drapes really nicely. I would have to say, I am pro acetate yarn at this point, as long as it's a nice quality acetate yarn. I know when I actually do the review portion of this, I'm going to have a lot more to say about non-conventional fibers and my experience coming into bamboo fibers back in the early 2000s. But guys, I would say if you see an acetate yarn that feels soft to the hand, give it a shot, especially if you live down here in the South where humidity is a problem. Whether it's hot or cold, moisture gets trapped against your skin, and when it's cold outside, that makes it feel colder to you. And this didn't trap any moisture around my neck. I mean, like if you feel my décolletage area here, it's really warm to the touch. It stayed warm, but it's not hot. It's not, uncomfortable heat. So if you want something, I mean, I can give this a try again in the spring and do an all day wear test, on a hotter day. I might come back and, wear it again on Saturday and give an update to a warmer day. It's supposed to be 70 on Saturday. But I mean, so far on a day, our low was 30 this morning. Our high was 52. It was 50% plus humidity all day long. I mean, we actually had a 10% chance of precipitation, which would have been snow at 6 and 7 o'clock this morning. Yeah, sorry, it's getting kind of bouncy over here. Curzon's trying to figure out how to get on the bed now. Yeah, so I thought this was kind of an experiment to come in here and do a wear test with this in a vlog format and check in with you guys as the day went on. I wasn't going to show you me actually, vacuuming and sweeping and stuff, but I mean, I did do some heavy housework today. I did some dusting, vacuuming, sweeping, and, you know, cooking a hot meal on the stovetop. So I was actively in there, you know, cooking. So, yeah, thumbs up on this. And I know there's one, they have one, I think it's an acrylic blend with acetate. This is the 100% acetate. And it seems like it's a cotton or bamboo with the acetate. So definitely, if you shop at Hobby Lobby, I would definitely give this a shot. If you see this at another store, another acetate yarn at another store, I would say give it a shot. If it feels soft in the ball. Now I am going to try to get a swatch crocheted up tomorrow, and we'll do a wash test with a swatch based on the care instructions, and then I'm going to do a second one, and it will be based, I will wash it and dry it, even though it says it's not dryer safe. So that'll come on Saturday. But as for my wear test here on Thursday, we've got a thumbs up on it. So I love you guys, and I hope the rest of this video is entertaining to watch and informative. I'll see you guys real soon. Bye, guys. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too wholly discombobulated with the video clips and the still pictures. I was back and forth on the phone all day. Yeah, so it was kind of a little bit of an eventful day. I didn't expect it to go quite how it did for the whole day, but that is what it is. Welcome to life. Welcome to the real world. So yeah, let's start by diving in on a little bit more technical note, because one of the things I'm seeing a lot of yarn crafters who aren't familiar with fabric being concerned with is acetate is plastic. So yes and no. It is a cellulose fiber. It is the second oldest form of rayon. It was developed in the 1860s, but was not easily produced and dyed and manufactured for mass production until closer to the 1920s when it comes to fabrics. It is processed very similarly to viscose, but it is a different chemical process than manufacturing viscose. And a lot of yarns you'll already be familiar with contain viscose from bamboo. Bamboo silk is another form of rayon. It is processed more similarly to acetate, but is still, once again, different. Other forms of rayon you might be familiar with, like I said, viscose, lysol, or tencel, which is the same material, or bamboo rayon. I actually took notes on some of the random information I did want to make sure I shared with you guys. As a fabric, it does date back to the 1860s. We're going to touch on acetate being heat sensitive, but one of the reasons why it is heat and water sensitive is it is hydrophobic. Water does not react very well with the fiber, and the fiber doesn't respond very well to water for extended periods of time. It is in a fabric form, normally a dry clean only fabric. Part of that is also the heat processing involved in washing your clothes at home. You're fine with a modern washing machine with a cold temperature water. Washing it is fine, but 100% this is an air dry fabric. Acetate quickly degrades with heat. One of the things that I mentioned with this was if you think back to school, if you were my age or older, I'm 37, you will remember the acetate sheets on the overhead projectors, and with time you would start seeing where they would warp, potentially if you had an old incandescent bulb one that actually got hot to the touch. You would see burning around the edges of the acetate sheets. If you've done any type of stage or theater tech and you're familiar with acetate gels in spotlights or lighting in general for stage lighting, one of the reasons why that deteriorates so quickly is acetate cellulose is very, very sensitive to heat, it gives you brilliant color. And when a gel is new, It is absolutely phenomenal, the color you can get with it, and the light picks up the color very nicely through the acetate without creating a film over lighting that you get from some of the other products out there that you can use for gels and things like that. But they do degrade with heat, and they degrade much faster than even other similar, I don't know if they're all cellulose. I don't think they are, but very similar kinds of materials. Those don't respond to the light as well, but they do last longer. So they're if you're familiar with technical design or lighting design for stage productions at all, you're very familiar with like high quality works great but deteriorates quickly versus, you know, gets a little bit foggier, doesn't read as true. Gels that last much longer, but your lighting quality is a little bit different. Acetate is a really fascinating material. It is plant-based. It's a processed plant-based material, just like bamboo silk is. It is a rayon. Almost all rayons are actually chemically treated cotton, wood, plant fibers to extrude and make a fiber out of, which is why I was like, they are not plastic. They are distinctly and wholly different from acrylic, chemically speaking. There are many types of rayons. They're all processed differently from each other, but and acetate technically has been moved out of the rayon category because it's in between things, but most fabrics still mark acetate as being an acetate rayon. It dries as a fabric and even as a yarn. It dries very quickly because once again, it is hydrophobic. It does not want to hold on to water. It does not pill with proper care. It is a low pill fiber. It also does not shed like a lot of fibers. I mean, even acrylic fibers, you can get heavy shed. Most rayons don't shed at all. The fiber holds together very nicely with proper care. And if they were to start to draft away from the core fabric and fiber, they actually kind of pull out because they are slippery. They are resistant to, in particular, acetate is resistant to mold and mildew. Once again, part of being hydrophobic, it doesn't hold on to moisture, which means it's harder for things to grow on the fabric created from acetate. It does breathe, just like bamboo silk. It does breathe. I kind of discussed that in the vlog a little bit, that it was holding on to heat, but not the moist heat. It is a low static fiber. I've had a number of, wool acrylic blend sweaters where you get stuff stuck to the sweater. This is a low static fiber in its nature. So you're not going to have as much of that static cling or shocking as you're taking like a cowl on and off. You're not going to get like the hair drafting way out off the top of your head or anything. And it takes to dyeing very well now. In the 1920s, there was a different process added to acetate dyeing when it came to fabrics. And this new process, I'm not hyper well versed in it, but this new way of processing color into acetate made it take the color brilliantly, which is one of the things you'll see with the finished objects when I hold them up more closely, how deep and saturated the colors are. And even in the light pink wash swatches that I did, you will see with washing and drying it warm, how little change there is to the color. Even bamboo can sometimes not hold on to color quite as well. Yeah, sorry. I've been talking a lot this morning, and Troy and I were listening to music this morning and singing along. I am very dry and definitely going to have to continue consuming fluids to talk. So when it comes to the eco-friendly part of acetate fibers, most modern acetate in a bioactive soil will decompose. The cell structure that still exists within the fiber, the backbone of the plant material, will break down, which will then lead to the rest of the material to break down. This is something different. So like landfills, if they're not using a bioactive treatment, might not break down. But with bioactive soil, it will break down in about 4 to 6 months is what I saw online. But that is newer acetate fabrics and acetate celluloid films. So that is something that is relatively new. Now, because this is a chemically treated plant material, the plant material itself is actually generally derived from very easily renewable resources. Like I said, cotton. It's not just like the cotton wool, but like the entire cotton plant can be used in creating acetate. So if you are already growing cotton for the wool, you can use the rest of the cotton plant in order to make acetate. Acetate is also made out of other leftover wood pulp from, say, paper processing, paper milling. It can be from the lumber industry. It can be from other bio-ready plant materials that already exist. There are many different plants that, like bamboo, are quick to grow, low resource driven, that you can use to make acetate. But as with bamboo, while the plant material is easily renewable, has a very limited impact on the planet itself, the chemical processing in order to turn it from plant material to fabric and yarn, plant to plant, on how eco-friendly that can be, processor to processor. That is, unfortunately, with a lot of, even like bamboo, that's true. I mean, there you give some, you lose some along the way. The chemical processing is where acetate and bamboo and most rayons fall short, depending on the manufacturer. So I think that's the end of our science and history lesson on acetate. If you're into vintage fabrics, vintage clothing, you are actually far more familiar with acetate than you realize, because a lot of products from 1940 to 1960 were actually made with acetate fabrics. Those dry clean only, low iron, easy to crease skirts, dresses, things like that. Those, a lot, were actually cellulose acetate. So if you're familiar with vintage fashion, you're already familiar with acetate rayons. You just might not realize there are certain branded versions out there that, I mean, you can do your own research on some of those, but you will see those on labels pre-1950 as this form of acetate. And that's just Carrie knows this from being obsessed with vintage clothing. So this yarn specifically, at regular price, is $5.99, 100 grams, 180 yards. This is what the label looks like. It is, I was reviewing the 100% acetate line. Now they do have a couple acetate blends available as well at Hobby Lobby. 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 180 yards, 165 meters. This is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. It calls for a size 8 5mm knitting needle or a size I 5.5mm crochet hook. I will be honest, and you can tell by looking at the skein, your initial response is going to be, this is a lot like Caron Simply Soft. It is very similar to Caron Simply Soft and how it feels and how your final project works with it. However, the experience working with this, I thought, was different. This has it's denser than you think the fabric should be, or the ball. I wish I still had a picture of the full balls before I worked them up, but the yarn itself feels heavier per ball than you think it should, just kind of like Caron Simply Soft. It is very satiny. It is buttery soft to the touch. It is pretty spectacular. I was telling you, I wanted to discuss the way it takes dye. I mean, look at how saturated those colors are. And even the pink, soft pink, has a really nice full color, even for a pastel. Now, Caron Simply Soft, I've not had the problems I know a lot of people do have, but I can see where it happens. One of the biggest issues is splitting. This yarn does not really split at all. It slips quite a bit. Working it with my Amore hook, it glided beautifully. Now, I only did a crochet project with this. I didn't feel the need to try it with both crafts, and particularly because it did crochet so well. And most people have issues with yarn crocheting, not knitting. Most knitters can knit with just about anything as long as they're not being fiber specific about something. I was really, really pleased with how this worked through. So the first project I did with it was a cowl. And you saw that with the vlog, the all-day wear test. It fits great. It's got just enough weight that it's obvious it's on, but you forget about it real fast. It retained warmth around my neck incredibly well, but I did not get sweaty or hot. It was very much like wearing athletic undergarments that let out excess heat but retain the heat you need to keep your body warm and moving. I would say, based on the next thing, my wash test, you could very easily make a sweater out of this. This is the one that I washed on delicate and air dried. Now, I will say my washer and dryer my washer has no agitator. I have a high efficiency, non-agitator, top loading washing machine. So this might get a little bit more beat up, even on a delicate cycle, than what I'm showing if you have an agitator. This is how it looked when it came out of the washer and dryer on permanent press. And for my machine, that is warm water, warm heat. You can see it did fuzz, but it's, once again, it's a low pill fiber. And these fuzzies, you can see where they're sliding out. They're just drafting away from the actual piece. They're not balling up and knotting, which is what creates pilling. Sorry, it's literally hanging right in front of my face and driving me crazy. There's another one right there. Let's drop those directly into the carpet so I can remember to vacuum them up later. The feeling of these, you can actually see the size really didn't change too much when I dried it, but it is a little bit smaller. I mean, it's ever so slightly. They were approximately identical when I finished crocheting them last night. And this has dried overnight. Definitely follow the care instructions on the ball band. It says it's machine washable up to 30 degrees, I believe, but no drying. Actually, that may mean no dryer, iron low heat. The little wash tub says 30 degrees Celsius, but I can't remember if there's another one that means no washing machine, only hand wash, low temperature. I would definitely probably hand wash anything that I crocheted out of this. It's just going to make it last longer. I would use a non-chlorine, gentle, rinse clean soap, detergent, whatever you use. I would also use something that has a neutral pH. I wouldn't use anything that's particularly acidic or alkaline, just to help with the integrity of the fiber, because once again, this is very sensitive to water, chemicals, and heat. The last thing I made is a matching ear warmer, which I'm not going to put on because I'm not going to ever get that back over my glasses and earrings without freaking out. Now, I did not take care with this. This is definitely to keep my ears warm while I'm walking in the morning, because we're having 30-degree mornings, and that's quite chilly, to be honest. So that's just to keep my ears warm. I would definitely say, I mean, everyday wear, or, you know, I wouldn't say athletic wear, but if you're like me and you just go out for long walks, not hikes or brisk, you could easily throw something like this on to keep your neck warm. I mean, even just sitting here, like, I can feel the warm bubble building up around my neck and in my chest area, but it's not that hot, humid heat. It's very similar to wearing a heavyweight cotton or bamboo, even traditional natural silk will do that. It breathes off the humidity, but retains natural body temperature warmth without becoming stagnant or sweaty. Wool sometimes can retain a little bit more moisture up against the skin, but it still breathes. So you're not getting like that claustrophobic feeling that sometimes, if you are warm-bodied and moving a lot, sometimes, you know, acrylic can hold on to that moisture and heat up against your body. So you get that stagnant in your clothes feeling. This fabric drapes amazingly well. Like I said, for a sweater, this would be brilliant. I mean, you can see my seam there. But I mean, you can see, this is no blocking. This has just been worn straight off the hook. It is very drapey, hyper malleable. I would not do anything where you need structure in your garment with this. This is definitely I would handle some shaping. It'll be fine, but I would not expect it to hold things like heavy seams or darting, pleating, things like that very well. It is very, very drapey though. So with shaping in particularly, this could be an amazing sweater, cardigan. Shawls would be fantastic with this yarn, but I wouldn't expect it to hold up to something like a pillowcase or intense structured home decor items. Yeah, so in the end, I would say definitely, if you don't shop at Hobby Lobby, don't discount acetate from other manufacturers. If you've been around the game for a while, you remember in the early, well, it was probably closer to like 2010-ish, so about 10 years ago, there was this huge boom, and I've talked about this on the channel before, but this huge boom of non-traditional fibers. We had banana silks becoming mainstream, cotton silk or corn silk becoming mainstream. This is the same phase where bamboo was really heavily introduced, and we started seeing more bamboo, viscose from bamboo, rayon from bamboo products hitting the yarn market. We also saw, this was about the same time that like sari silk hit the market in its raw form, where it really was leftover silk from making saris, and it was the offcuts, the selvage edges being turned into yarns. There were other forms of cellulose yarns being produced at the same time, aside from bamboo and corn silk. All of these, casein, there was milk fiber, actual milk fiber yarns. And it was using casein, which once again is it's associated to being plastics. It's old, brittle, hard plastics, like true plastic versus polyethylene-based, petrol-based plastic, bendy plastics, recyclable plastics. Hard cellulose plastics, a lot of those actually contained casein. You can actually process milk into casein for making molds at home. There is a way to do that. I don't remember how to do it. It's from a book I used to have. It was published in like the 1960s, and it was like at home crafts, but it discussed the manufacturing of plastics from casein from the 1860s, 1890s to, at the time, the modern era. Anyway, fascinating things were happening with yarn. And I mean, the milk protein stuff took color like nobody's business. And it held it. I mean, it held it tight. It was brilliant. Rayon has always taken color very well and generally holds color very well as long as it's not exposed to UV light. Once again, long-term moisture, things like heat. Heat will degrade the structures that hold on to the color. But I'm pretty excited if you see this somewhere else. I mean, I am all for bringing back the crazy wild fibers and playing with those more. When that really hit in 2010, I didn't have the budget or the skills to work with a lot of these when they were on the market. So I am glad to see somebody is starting to bring back some more of these more interesting fibers and not just bamboo. Bamboo stuck hard when that hit the market in the earlier 2000s, but most of these other ones kind of fell off. Corn silk was quite a delight to work with. I would love to see somebody bring back a corn silk yarn again, or more corn silk fabrics and rayons. And once again, that's using byproducts from producing food, which to me is kind of interesting. So this is already like well over 30 minutes long, but I really did want to get into a little bit of the ecology, the chemistry, and the history of acetate before really getting into what I think of this yarn. So from 1 to 5, I would have to say this is a 4. It's not perfect for everything. It's not an all-purpose yarn. It is pretty spectacular though, and I think most people would enjoy working with it. I would be selective about the type of patterns you use. You do want something where you would have already considered using rayon to begin with. So think of this as a rayon. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's really quite nice. And as a sweater, and particularly if you are a sweater, as in perspiration producer, and in a colder climate where things like that can make your clothes wet and make you colder, I would definitely consider trying something like this, because it doesn't hold on to the moisture. It doesn't hold the moisture close to your body or in the fiber itself. It, once again, hydrophobic, pushes the moisture away from it. So it's going to continue to wick away just like bamboo and cotton do, but it retains heat very, very well. So I'm kind of enjoying it. I have a feeling that I might have to try some more of these, but I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I generally try to get back with you guys within a day or two. Sometimes it does take me a little bit longer. I am only human, and I can only exist in one plane at one time. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Love you guys.